Bonjour y'all, Nola Butterfly here, and I'm half asleep but excited because I've been waiting for several hours to capture what we're about to capture. We are following the radar, well, it's Tropical Storm Hilary now, it was Hurricane. It lost its eye somewhere around here, it became hard to follow. I wasn't quite sure what we were looking at or for, and now as the system is passing over, it is undeniable. So we shall move this to the side here because really, well, let me enlarge this some more. Alright, so this is what we're looking at, right? This is the California border. And here, get this out of the way. We don't need any more of this map. You can see the Doppler radars occupy most of the space in the troposphere of the United States, minus some of the mountain ranges that break up the radiation, actually, and the ability to read those mountain ranges or whatever. But for our purposes today, we were looking at KX. I closed that window earlier because it's past. It was going into KSOX, so we definitely have, this is where that would be on the map, KSOX. And this is where it got interesting. This is where I'm getting what I'm looking for. The beams aren't that clear to me, like they usually are, but definitely the eye formed over KSOX. I don't know what the ghost radar is showing. This is the area of warning, flood warning, and flood is all around here as they're predicting. But let's K and KX. We're done with that. This is KSOX, so let's check out KSOX. Now earlier, here's the eye coming up, and it's going to go right into it, right? It went right into it. KSOX. And you see the conversions? I want you to check this out here. We have south and east that came in over the radar, and it's swirling around and it dances right into it. There we go. And so this is Los Angeles radar, KSOX, and now it's going up this way, but we've got KEYX that is pulling into it. KEYX is pulling into it, right? Pulling it into the next one. It's going this way, but you have you have KVTX. Unfortunately, they cut off over here, and it's I don't know what it means, why they cut it off, why you can't see anything at this line, beyond this line, but it does. It goes up around here. This is the blue around the radar is very small, so it allows it to come in, and they're bringing it up. Comes in through here. There it is. There it is. And poof, right into it, and then the ball is passed. And what's the next one with KEYX? That was the one next to it, right? We had KVTX and KEYX, so it's coming around here, but it's pass on KVTX, KVBX. Also very small, and it's coming into the radar. Yes, yes. But the other one is pulling it. Which one's the other one? This is KHNX. KHNX again is up in here, up in here. So going for it, going for it, going for it. You see it converging over that radar? You see it bringing it in? Bringing it in. Now let's check out storm relative mean velocity, which is the red-green show. Thank you, Leonard Coleman. And when the red is pointed towards the storm, it lets it in. You would think it would stop it, red and green, right? Isn't it? It's the opposite. Not red light, green light. But the red, yeah, and how I knew it would be red. I wasn't even looking at it. I knew it would be red because it's bringing it in. It's allowing, when it's facing the storm side, it's bringing it in. So we have it bringing it in here. And this one is, again, KVBX. KVBX is which one? That's this one underneath. Bring it in, but it gets sucked up there because the other one's pulling. So they're not really... This puts pulsing. So let's check out the storm relative mean velocity of this one. Excuse me while we load. And this continues the World of Hot Water documentary series and movie based on the real-life radar captures that yours truly has been making since 2017, when I discovered Irma was being steered by Doppler radar and figured out that this was a pattern and correctly predicted. See the red is bringing it in, and it's not connecting. Red starts to connect. Yeah, pulls it up, but this one's getting it. This one up here is getting it. So it's just gonna do a pass off. EYX again. EYX is this one, Central Southern California, just north of northeast of Los Angeles. Santa Ana, what is that? And storm relative mean velocity. Yeah, so I noticed Irma going into Doppler radar by the eye, and I figured out, because I just interviewed Weather War 101, that it's what it does. That's I predicted that this would be a pattern that we would keep seeing, and indeed we did. And even I couldn't believe my own eyes, so I had to go back in time to Nikola Tesla to prove that I'm not making it up. And let's check this out. Red, bring it in this way. Yeah. Red is facing storm side. Now it's not always red. The red facing the storm side. If it's green, then it dissipates. It gets, basically they kill the storm when the green faces the storm, or it breaks up. But when it's red, it's pulling, especially as it connects. But that one is assisting. These guys are pulling, and then this one pulls, but KHNX is the active puller. We're going to keep going here with it. BTX. Again, KBTX is this one northwest of Los Angeles. And you see it here. And then it goes here, and then it goes up to KHNX with a little pull by KVBX, but goes into it. The I goes into it. Right, rolls right into it and then rolls out. Some of it's here, but it gets pushed up. There's LA. Definitely, even though we have a big chunk missing. Don't know why. Look, it's gonna go pull right into it. There you go. We got it. We got it. Gotcha. So, it is going into KHNX. Absolutely. Red is pulling it up, and there she blows. You know, if I could stay up, I'll capture more of the storm going to KHNX. I mean, they really want you looking up at the chemtrails. They don't care about that because you can't prove which chemical comes out of which plane, and you don't even know what half the planes are, and it's hard to catch a plane, but Doppler radar is on the ground, and it is your weaponized weather. It steers the storms and manages daily weather, and you know what? After a couple of years sabbatical, yours truly is finding that they haven't changed too much. The grid is down on the ground. I can't prove when they're using HARP. I can't prove when they're using satellites. Maybe you can, but I can't. Most people can't. But you can learn how to prove they're using Doppler radar. So follow me, and we're going to be bringing on some other people that follow radar and see what they've learned, because we're all putting it together for ourselves, and if you have a critical mind, it's possible to figure this out. And at this point, you don't even have to. We can show you some things, and maybe you'll be able to show us some things as well. But definitely, look, this is the guy, KHNX. It's going right into it. It's pulling it up, pulling it up, pulling it up. That's the one. Yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Maybe I'll capture more later on. And then maybe if I do, I'll put it together with this one in a re-edit. But for now, I'm going to try to get this up. I don't even know what the path is, because I can't really see it on Ghost. It's because Ghost goes black at night, and it's, 11, it's nearly midnight. I am tired. I am tired. We'll not be getting much of much more, but as far as I'm concerned, we have it going over KSOX, and then we have the others that are feeding into it. And this was, I was capturing radar earlier, and I just was not knowing what I was seeing, but this I recognize. This I see. This is the storm doing its thing, and the radar is acting accordingly from what we've learned in the past. So Doppler radar is still steering the storms. They've got lightning that's damaging cars now. Lightning strike demolishes cars at Georgia dealership. Oh, aren't cars supposed to be grounded? What's going on here? We have ships that burned. We have a submarine that went belly up north of La Haina because there was a fire internally. And I've got the pictures of that. This was done. And, yeah, they fried those people. They absolutely massacred them. And now they're going to distract you with a hurricane in California. All part of the narrative. Climate change ain't what they say it is. I'm not denying climate is changing. Oh yeah, I mean, and we broke the hydrological cycle years ago. Pollution and weather modification, which has been going on forever, and bad farming practices like glyphosate absolutely interfere with climate, but CO2 doesn't drive climate. NASA says even small changes in the location or abundance of clouds can change the climate more than the anticipated changes brought about by greenhouse gases, human-produced aerosols, or other factors associated with global change. And that's from NASA. And what affects water vapor? I mean, the only reason they ignore it is because they say man does not affect water vapor. There's no anthropogenic effect to water vapor that man is responsible for, right? I mean, it's but what are we seeing coming out of planes? Aerosols, the chemical aerosols that the water vapor is forming on. And then what else affects water vapor? Microwaves, electromagnetic frequencies. And we've proven this time and again. So God bless y'all, and blessed be. Whoosh, there she goes. And she'll be going into this puppy. KHNX. Alright? I'm doing it before she's really over it. So, hopefully I capture her in a little bit. Alright, we've got the wee hours of the morning here. We were showing the radars. KSOX fed it to KHNX, which sent it to KRGX. Now, all this was via KEYX and slightly by KVTX, but the main ones were KSOX, KHNX, and now it's KRGX. So this is KHNX. At the end of that, you can see it coming into it. And there's something that pulls on it at the end, but it's going in, going in, going in. We showed that earlier. It is the wee hours of the morning, so I've had to re-record this later part since I was quiet. Everybody was sleeping in the house. Okay, there you go. And it's being pulled up by KRGX. And you can see the signatures around it. You know, those ripple effects. And there it goes, up, 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 right over it. Right over it. So here's KSOX one more time. The end of that, it went up, 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 and the malformed eye. It is a storm that weakened, so it's not quite a hurricane. But there was a little eye that I couldn't find on GOES earlier, the satellite, because it got to be dark. But even before it got dark, it was hard to track the storm until it got close to the radars, and then you can see it swirling around. That is the eye right there into the radar, directly into the KSOX. Los Angeles radar. It might be Santa Ana where they have it, close enough to LA. And then what they do, they send it up via KEYX and a little bit of interaction with KVTX, but not much. They cut it off, and KHNX was sending up. I can show some of the other radars how they pull and then cut off. They don't want to bring it in or off track too much, but I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. So we're going to look at the ones that were active, because there are these other ones that have a play. They push and pull. The whole system is connected. It's a grid. It's connected, and I believe it's connected to the solar fields and the wind farms, and it's all connected. And then it blows up your smart meter when convenient. So KRGX, it's not pulling it in, and then it starts bringing it in, and there it goes. It brings it in right over the radar. right over the radar. You could see the signatures again and all those ripples that you can actually see in the sky as well as it's being pushed on that conveyor belt. And that's right from KHNX, which was pulling it in directly until the engagement of KRGX. So you could see it going in, ripples and all. And then there's something that starts to pull on it and then takes over. And it's KRGX. And yeah, pulls it. Well, let's look at the red-green show here. So remember, the red attracts, the green repels. So right now there's the green, and then the red starts to, they push the red into the storm side, and then it pulls it. That's when it starts coming in, and it converges over the radar and comes through. And there we have it. It's the intention of the radar that directs the storms. Once again. Pull.
What is this technology?
Essentially, we're drawing oceanic rain systems that exist over the oceans into geographic targets, into our agricultural areas. The technology uses electromagnetics, so we're not interfering with the atmosphere or with the environment. We're not damaging it. We're not using chemicals fired through rockets like other technologies use. We use a very gentle but powerful technology, launching electromagnetics into the atmosphere to modify the flow of the weather system over the ocean and drawing it into a target. So to try and keep it simple, we establish some kind of link with a weather system, and once we've seen through satellite meteorology that we have that link, we're able to draw that system in incrementally towards the target, such as in this case the Horn of Africa.
So let's take this one as a case study. This was April 20th through the 21st of 2012. This was a visual that they showed on the website, and just as an example of their composite map, and I thought it was a great example to use because here you can actually see you have a front coming through, and then the Doppler radars build a wall. They bloom out, stopping it from continuing on, and it sends it up instead. See, it's coming across, but the blooms come, and then it breaks it up and sends it out. And this is even illustrated really well on the slower one here. See, this Doppler turns that, takes that line of weather, and because it's here, the energy goes like that, goes around it, like it splits it up, like it's a Laffy Taffy being pulled on a line of conveyor belts. Low pressure, low pressure, low pressure, low pressure, low pressure, low pressure, high pressure.
This is a unique little book covering a topic that is much overdue for teaching children about our environment. The title is Funny Clouds, A Chemtrail's Tale, written by Raphael O'Neill, illustrated by Sean Gautreaux, and printed by an Amazon company called Great Space. The story is about little Marie and her mom, who go outside to plant a tree. When they finish, little Marie looks up towards the sky to see strange clouds sprayed by jet aircraft. The story is told in rhyme and prose that can inform but also entertain a young reader. I recommend this book because it has an optimistic message without instilling fear. The story ends on a positive note about how responsible people will ultimately succeed in stopping chemtrails by spreading awareness and taking political action. This little book is a valuable tool for adults to educate their children on an extremely important environmental issue. Informed citizens know that chemtrails were described in House Resolution 2977 as an exotic weapon back in 2001. Concerned parents have a right to protect their children from dangerous chemical experiments in our sky.